Patients will die unnecessarily if we delay adoption of new technology. Critical illness does not respect geography, and all Australians deserve world-class healthcare. We are world leaders in health advancement, and we stand on the shoulders of giants. My name is Paul Adams. I'm a former paramedic, now doctor, and chairman of AIA. We are a charity advocating for cutting-edge solutions that restore equity. Tiltrotors can efficiently save hours, reduce patient movement, and minimise exposure to altitude. Costs are saved by reducing the number of required operating bases, aircraft, and personnel. Lives depend on this initiative.
Hi, I'm Aidan Depetro, Lead of Modelling and Decision Support at BMT Designer Technology. I've provided expert advice to decision makers for several years now and have found discrete event simulation to be a powerful decision support tool. BMT promotes a scientific and logical approach to developing business cases, and the model we built for AIA is no exception. This model incorporates real-world aeromedical response procedures and vehicle performance data to assess tiltrotor effectiveness in providing aeromedical care.
A pilot from the Royal Flying Doctor Service landed to the light of 20 flaming toilet paper rolls, not flares, when a woman hurt herself badly in remote northern Queensland. Toilet paper flares give off enough light to permit an emergency landing, and pilots do about 10 of these landings a year.
Why are patients in the bush still at risk and disadvantaged by location? Whose responsibility is it to give them access to world-class healthcare?
My name is Kathryn Millist-Spendlove. I'm a senior solicitor and company secretary for AIA. Australia's outback landscape is vast and challenging. Rural Australians continue to experience inequity. Inland residents are spread out, away from big hospitals on the coast. Fixed wing transport is currently the only option in remote areas.
Hi team, my name's Marco Giuseppin. I'm a local pilot and doctor from the Toowoomba area. As the only aircraft that can do helipad to helipad transport at sea level cabin pressure, tiltrotor aircraft support the 5 pillars of retrieval medicine. Number 1, unbeatable combination of speed and vertical lift. Number 2, the ability to stabilize a patient early, pre-hospital, before moving them. Number 3, point-to-point long-range transport. Number 4, advanced care in a pressurized cabin. And number 5, the fastest method of direct access, even at moderate range.
We're about to see how this machine shapes up in 3 key mission areas: rural primary aeromedicine, inter-hospital critical care retrieval, and maritime search and rescue.
G'day, my name's Brett Croker. I'm a Director with Aeromedical Innovation Australasia and Senior Base Pilot from the Royal Flying Doctor Service. In this first scenario, we calculated that the turboprop aircraft was the fastest option, considering the position of the closest helicopter or the use of the coastal jet aircraft. The tiltrotor eliminates the need for road transport to an airfield and allows paramedics 2 hours to achieve stabilisation before any movement. Yet the tiltrotor retrieval team is still first to the bedside. In fact, the tiltrotor crew is mission complete and back at base ready for another mission before the patient could arrive at hospital by any other means. Ultimately, considering all options, a tilt rotor staged inland offers the best logistical solution for rural primary aeromedicine.
G'day, I'm Dennis Lennox. My team and I support medical service throughout remote and rural Queensland, and I work from a base from Australia's second largest inland city, Toowoomba. Access to medical services for Australians living, working or travelling in the vast remoteness of our country, particularly following severe illness or injury, is very challenging. Over some decades now, Australians have responded to this challenge with classic ingenuity. From Cloncurry, Queensland in 1928, John Flynn created the Australian Inland Mission Aerial Medical Service in an early adoption of fixed-wing flight technology to this challenge. 45 years later, rotor aircraft complemented John Flynn's by then iconic and vital aeromedical retrieval service, known also by then as the Royal Flying Doctor Service. And by the year 2000, both civilian and military aviation professionals began to envision the aeromedical retrieval advantages offered by yet another advance in aviation technology, tilt-rotor aircraft.
Note how a large part of Australia's geography is not covered by rescue helicopters. Patients here rely on proximity to an airstrip. So in particular, inland, rural and remote populations will have unprecedented access. Undoubtedly, we'll see life-saving benefits available to those living in the outback. After all, aeromedicine is fundamentally about overcoming the tyranny of distance.
Hello team, my name is Illya Selmes. I'm an internationally experienced critical care flight paramedic and clinical educator with a military background. It's sad to note that deaths still occur in remote areas of Australia due to deficiencies in our aeromedical system when these deaths are completely avoidable in other parts of our country.
G'day, I'm Bruce Wicksteed. In this scenario, we're saving the life of a critically ill child. Using a jet aircraft here is nearly 2 hours faster than using a turboprop aircraft, but jets are hard to access and we still can't afford a traffic jam. As an experienced paediatric intensive care nurse and flight paramedic, I've studied the importance of paediatric critical care systems in our country and around the world. It can take hours to stabilise a sick child, as we see here. I'm currently working on another project with AIA called Project Artemis, and we want to see a national paediatric retrieval service established. This could mean that no matter where you are in Australia, you can count on one system to respond when a child is sick in the bush. As you can see, this scenario is right on the cusp of the break-even point between a tilt rotor and a jet. Decoupling involves aircraft response to other tasks during the stabilisation phase, and rurally based tilt-rotor aircraft are well suited to this strategy. A quicker solution to this scenario, therefore, is the team responds from Brisbane in a jet and returns from Alpha with a stabilised patient in a tilt-rotor. The fastest solution involves a rurally staged, dedicated paediatric tiltrotor team. This scenario represents the distance involved in key air transport corridors. So regardless of system strategy, the tiltrotor is the best solution for inter-hospital critical care retrieval, even over moderate distances.
Soon, another 45 years will have passed in Australia's aeromedical retrieval history. The Royal Flying Doctor Service, together with organisations operating helicopter aeromedical services, now provide high-level assurance of emergency medical accessibility for people in remote and rural Australia. We have a world-leading aeromedical retrieval system. Upon this valuable base, Tiltrotor aircraft now open a new window of complementary opportunity for innovative and substantial gain in retrieval range, retrieval time, and retrieval cost, the beneficiaries to which will be the people of the vastness of remote and rural Australia, its visitors, and indeed the whole nation.
Addressing cost is a far bigger beast to investigate than we anticipated. The appreciation of cost savings requires realisation of how expenditure on remote aeromedicine is currently shared. Yet this is where economy of scale will permit significant cost savings. So think for a moment, where do you sit here? Are you an early adopter? Are you adverse to change or risk? Is it about cost or patient care? Are you a pioneer, or do you prefer to wait for someone else?
Hi there, I'm Dan Lack and I have over 10 years of mountain search and rescue experience, having worked with the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group in Boulder, Colorado. For our search and rescue operations, we would often use military Black Hawk and Chinook helicopters, as well as commercial aeromedical retrieval helicopters. The use of a jet here is hypothetical, but you'll see it's still no match for the Tiltrotor. I'm now a medical student and a member of AIA. See how this patient is warm and dry in hospital before a helicopter rescue from the ocean can take place. By avoiding 2 hours in the water and transport in an unpressurized cabin, altogether we can save 3.5 hours of physical stress. This is easily the difference between life and death.
Hi team, it's Marco again. In summary, the Tiltrotor is a versatile and cost-efficient solution for best practice patient care across multiple mission profiles. And notice that Wellcamp Airport, as a regional champion, could offer world-leading, unbeatable aeromedical support to both coastal and inland populations with Tiltrotor aircraft.
The golden hour is dead. That means that out-of-hospital care is no longer about rushing to get to a patient, only then to have to race that patient back to hospital. The new strategy involves dispatching an advanced care team and equipment to the patient's side, initiating appropriate treatment, then quickly providing stable and direct transport to an appropriate facility. When considering this strategy, you can see, indicated here by the blue circles, that Tiltrotor airframes appropriately located can reach the vast majority of Australia within 1 hour. Our research indicates that from scene, the Tiltrotor airframe will be capable of transporting a patient nearly 800 kilometres. As you can see, a skeletal service of only 30 airframes will provide aeromedical cover for Australia. It should be noted that this model is not about replacing rotary wing airframes, it's more about supplementing them and providing an appropriate national aeromedical response.
Although it wasn't initially obvious, with discrete event simulation, we've been able to clearly explore the tiltrotor advantage in rural primary aeromedicine, inter-hospital critical care retrieval, and maritime search and rescue.
I'm Dr. Andrew Berry and I lead our state neonatal and paediatric retrieval service in New South Wales. We consider ourselves world leaders in managing the referral and transport of critically ill babies and children between hospitals. Our service profile covering the whole state extends well beyond the typical operating range of helicopter, yet we don't take off by fixed wing for 85 minutes on average. We've been eagerly awaiting the arrival of the civilian tiltrotor for many years as especially relevant to us, and like AIA, we're very keen to see it commence service in Australia as soon as sensibly possible. Combining the advantages of fixed wing and helicopter, the tiltrotor platform will save time, money and lives, especially for highly centralised teams such as those for neonatal and paediatric transport. The concept of a multi-state service delivery model is especially appropriate for paediatrics if we want to achieve maximum availability of teams to patients needing the service wherever they are, near or far, rural or remote. The tiltrotor lends itself to supporting teams operating across state borders regularly, as teams are selected from where they can be rapidly tasked rather than their proximity to the likely destination hospital. Such mutual collaboration will bring tertiary level care much quicker to our patients. It's important to look at the big picture, the cumulative results, to really understand the potential in our system. AIA has developed a research plan ready to roll out once funded. Pause the video now to examine it in detail, and thanks again for your support.
We could be known for doing something special in the next 5 years that changes health outcomes for rural Australians around the country, before someone else is able to do it. And knowing that it's going to happen one way or the other.
Within 5 years, we could unlock a new future for all rural Australians. Comprehensive inland medical services for outback Australia. Without your support and advocacy, rural Australians could be waiting decades. Imagine how many lives could be saved in that time.
Yep, it's Marco again. We are extremely grateful for the awesome generosity of BMT in providing their discrete event simulation model pro bono to AIA. Be sure to see the full BMT design and technology video linked here. AIA membership is for anybody with an interest in the future of aeromedicine. No matter where you live or what you do, you can help us work towards a future where everyone has access to the best aeromedical support possible. And yes, before you ask, we are also looking at unmanned aerial systems, also known as drone technology, in aeromedicine. I'm running that side of things. It's called Project Skywalker, and I'd love to hear from you.